And we are just seconds from starting the season 5 summit that is Reimagine Your Business. Very excited for that. Very excited. Lisa, here's another link for you.
I came in as an attendee. Is that the problem? Should I have come in through a different link?
Yes, there was an email link that you would have gotten. So let me see if I have you as a panelist. You're in as a panelist, so I don't understand.
I'll go out and then I'll come back in again and see if that helps me. Maybe that might be the best option.
Okay.
Actually.
We are having so much fun. So what you are all witnessing, for those of you that are part of the team and not part of the team, at IBGR, we believe in growing in front of you. That is what we do, and we try new things. So this is the first time. When we did our last summit, we were using a platform called StreamYard. This one we're using Zoom Webinar. And so if it sounds like we're figuring things out as we go, we're doing a little bit of that. And that is part of the entrepreneurial spirit. That's what this is all about. It is 7 o'clock, so we'll have our on-air talent coming and going throughout the next 2 hours, and you'll be able to ask questions to them. If you would like to come into the screen and talk with us like Andrew, we just raise your hand, let us know, we'll bring you on in. I can't guarantee that we could get your camera running if you're not a panelist, but we certainly would love to be able to have conversations with you. We're going to be running tonight in 30-minute segments. So our on-air talent will be coming in and out. It's going to be very casual as we get to know each other. You'll hear a little bit about the IBGR origin story, some of the other platforms that we have available in our business resources. We have a whole suite. And then we're just going to talk about what reimagining Andrew, your business. Raise your hand. So somebody is listening to the Facebook Live. There we go. We're going to be broadcasting live on ibgr.network. So at 7:02 and 30 seconds, go ahead and laugh, you guys, 7:02 and 30 seconds, or if you're down under 9:02 and 30 seconds, I'll be pushing the button to go live on IBGR Radio. We are live on the IBGR Network Facebook site. We would have loved to have gone live on the YouTube, but we'll post the video on there as we're recording it now. We have our on-air talent from around the world joining us. We have Robin Papier from Mauritius, which is a fantastic island off the coast of Africa near Madagascar. We have Steve Sweeney from Melbourne, and we have Sarita Johan also from Melbourne, yes. And then we have Rick Carter from Adelaide, Australia. So 3 of our Australians. We have myself, Donna Cundy, part of the IBGR executive team from Richmond, Virginia, and also William Eastman. And I have to keep an eye on the time here because we are going to be pushing this button to go live right about now on IBGR Radio. So connect. And we're live with the IBGR Summit here on Facebook, here on the Zoom, and on the IBGR Network. I'm Donna Cundy, and I get to MC today's event. We have a fun group here with Lisa Asquith, Crystal Davis, Rick Carter, Londina Cruz. We have Bob DiGiacomo, Sarita Johan, William Eastman, how could I forget you? Robin Papier and Steve Sweeney. And this is the official launch into the IBGR season 5. Can you believe that it is season 5 already? My gosh, my goodness. So we have, if you are listening and you want to join in the webinar, you're not on the webinar, just go to ibgr.network/webinar. And when you give your email address, you'll get the link to join us on the webinar so you can come and talk with us and chat with us. And to get this party started, I thought it would be neat because we always get questions. How did this start? Where did this idea of business radio, global, around the world, all that you have going on at IBGR, what is it and how did it get started? And so I'm going to turn it over to William Eastman, the brainchild of this whole thing. Really, I came along for the ride and I'm enjoying it 100%. But Bill, why don't you tell us how did this start?
Okay, I'm gonna do this as fast as I possibly can do it because I'd rather hear other people talk. I started off doing corporate consulting, and in the process, have 5 startup companies. 2 of them were very successful. One of them was kind of mezzo. One bombed and basically wiped out most of the principals. And I have this one. But what happened after the one that bombed was it forced me to go, why did we fail? Because we had, one company, it wasn't bad, but 2 very, very successful companies. What happened? Did we lose the bubble? Did we forget something? And what it did is it forced me to look hard at, is there a logical process for how companies develop? And so that was kind of the start of this. And so I was focused on large corporations. I was focused on growth. And my goal with my clients in the Fortune 50 was to maximize their opportunities and resources to grow their businesses. Then I went to Africa. And I had the good fortune to work for United Nations Development Programs, UNDP, and I did economic development working first in Ghana and then in Nigeria. And what I recognized was 2 things. One was the entrepreneurs, small business owners that I encountered in Africa had more in common with me, and I had more in common with them than my own family. And it really got me to understand that those of us who are business owners and entrepreneurs are just a different group of people. And the second thing that hit me was everything that I was doing with large corporations with some impact, because, you got a company with 1,000 people, good luck with making change. It's going to take a long time. Got to have the right people in power. Here, we got business owners, we could turn their world around in a day. And so the question then became is how do we do that? I mean, I could go to Africa and go village to village or town to town, but that's not going to make a significant impact. How do we get the most people involved and help them? So I shifted over to small business. I started doing small business consulting, trying to work out what the problem was. And in the process of doing that, I wound up having a couple radio shows. And I was just doing it as kind of a lark. And one show that I have here in the greater Richmond, Virginia area, we turned into the #1 business talk station show in the area. I had a Friday show at noon, so I got some of the lunch traffic, and I fell in love with the microphone. And there's something intoxicating about being live. There is it's a drug. And so when they sold that station, I went and moved on to another station here in the area, and was doing basically the same thing. The person who was the station manager resigned, and I went, well, gee, maybe we ought to check this out. So, and I do business turnarounds. That's what I was doing in small businesses. So I went in there, I took it over. I had a great program manager who came in with me, and he and I in 8 months made it profitable. And they sold the station, which is what we feared they were going to do. But in the process, I was working on how to take this local station global and build an internet base. So when they said, nah, we're going to sell the company, thank you for what you did, you're gone, I went, well, why don't we create a company? So 15 months ago, we did this. We put it together, Donna and I. Donna was and I co-hosted a show on WNTW called 2020 Sales Solutions, and it was all about marketing and sales in the current environment. We started this business, and basically a year ago this week, we went live. And when we went live, I was doing 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then we were replaying that around the world. We had 1 listener in 1 country. Now today, a year later, after being on the air, we have 169 countries. We're averaging about 2,500 people as listeners, and there are about 40 some odd of us on the air. And so that is really the story. But the essence it gets to is this. There are 375 million business owners and entrepreneurs around the world. We employ us. 57% of everybody on the planet is employed by us. So basically, all of the economies are affected by what we do day in and day out. And when I was in Africa, and I got a sense of something that you don't typically see in the United States or in more of the developing countries, is that probably the greatest way that we could affect those societies is to help business owners create generational wealth. One of the problems that most people have in those countries is that they start from zero or maybe from negative numbers. There's no generational wealth. What if we help business owners create wealth for themselves, their family, and the generations to follow? And in the process of doing that, as they grow their companies, they create really good local jobs. And so the premise behind the radio station and the network is simple: create generational wealth for the business owner so they can create good local jobs. And then that provides each one of us an opportunity to present our particular unique piece, because each one of us offers something that the others can't do. And so that is the premise behind the station. That's why we created it. And hopefully I got through that fast. I had to script it out so I could say it fast.
Yeah, you did a great job, Bill. So a little bit about how this all came about, and now you see the faces from around the world that have come on board to mentor, to share strategies, to talk about what Reimagine Your Business really is about. I know that the pandemic has been a little crazy in the business world, to say the least. But our on-air talent are still going strong and still sharing with a passion to share, if I might add. If you're new to IBGR, welcome. If this is the first experience, the first time you've ever come on board to really get to know us and what we're about, we're so glad that you're here. We're so happy to have you. We're going to be working as best we can to manage the comments both on the webinar and on Facebook if you have them. And so a little patience as we do that. And I know our on-air talent will be getting with you to answer questions. If you want to come on board and be seen and be heard, and you're one of our attendees, just let us know. We'll bring you on board. We want to have conversations with you. And if you're listening to my voice on the radio or you're listening on Facebook, then you can still join the webinar. Just go to ibgr.network/webinar and you'll be able to register and get the link. Come on board. Everybody that has registered, you should have gotten the link to an ebook. If you haven't gotten that, we'll make sure that you get the link. It's an ebook that Bill put together on what reimagining the business is like here at IBGR, because we do it first. We build it in front of you and then we share. It's always from experience, not just from some headspace of what it's all about. IBGR is more than just radio. We also have a news network at ibgr.news. We have a community at ibgr.community. We have an app at ibgr.app. We try to keep it really simple. Can you see the pattern there? So now what I'd like to do is hear from all of our talent that are here. Any of you that would like to jump in, just what does reimagine your business mean to you? And as you come in, tell us where you're coming in from and when your show airs, and what does reimagine your business mean to you? Who wants to go first with that one? Go ahead and unmute, come on board, and let's hear from you. Go ahead, Bob.
Okay, it's great to be here with you guys tonight, and I have to tell you right off the bat, I'm very pleased and happy to see one of my former, well, he's still a client of mine, but I've known this guy for years. He's right down there in the bottom. Mr. Little, how you doing? Andrew is over there in Bermuda, where I was, but right now I'm coming to you from Arkansas. And I tell you, when I think of Reimagine, it just keeps playing in my mind, that country song. Is it a country song? I Can Only Imagine. So I can only imagine the reimagine of starting again for the first time, because during season 4, I was busy letting people know, the heck with this pandemic thing. Everybody's looking for this new normal. I'm saying we're in the now normal. And every day we have a new now normal, because yesterday ended last night. There's just so much of an opportunity to grow. You know, I always remember from the history, I used to be a teacher, out of chaos always comes order. And we are in a great launching pad right now to help people get out of the chaos and get into the order with reimagining what they can do.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much, Bob. And for the panelists, you know, we can just jump in, have a conversation if you feel so led. I know, talking with you, Cash, your show is Money Matters with Cash the Bookkeeper. Love, love, love. That's on Mondays at noon Eastern time. And you have a very unique perspective this season on what Reimagine Your Business is about. You want to share a little bit about that?
Yes, because I have very little choice at this point. No, I do. But before I do that, I want to say hi. Hi, I was a little late. Sorry, it was dinner time for my 6-year-old, and he will not be denied his
So
chicken
is
nuggets.
Money Matters with Cash the bookkeeper.
You
Love.
know? No, I do. But before I do that, I want to say hi. Hi, I was a little late. Sorry. I don't know
So
if
somebody
anybody
is
else is
watching
hearing
the
that feedback.
Yeah, somebody is
Oh,
not
okay.
muted and watching Facebook.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Love.
I'm just really loud. I do. But before I do, I want to say hi. Hi, I was a little late. Sorry. I don't know
So
if super
somebody is
loud.
watching with
It's just on loop.
All right. So
Okay.
if you're not talking
my
with
bad.
Cash right now and you're watching
I do.
Facebook, can you please
But
mute?
before I do, I wanna
Thank
say
you.
hi. Hi, I was a little late. Sorry. I don't know if it's super loud.
This is the beauty of it. Is that you, Bill? If you're yes. All right, Cash.
Sorry, I'm really loud. My husband got me a new mic. I was talking about chicken nuggets when I'm supposed to be talking about my show. My apologies, everyone. Hi. Well, that's a great way of introducing me, actually. So my name is Kashmir Rashid, otherwise known as Cash the Bookkeeper, and I love accounting. The reason I love accounting is because it's always changing, and it changes and moves with the business. So just as Bob was saying, out of chaos comes order, right? So we're in this chaos moment, and my life is all about creating order from chaos as a bookkeeper, right? So Money Matters is all going to be about the future of money, since money is actually changing yet again. It's changed several times. But like the way we think about money, actual physical money, and then of course how we obtain the ever elusive dollars and cents, right? How are we going to do that? And as business owners, we have an obligation to pivot and to transition, and as chaos happens, to create that order for the next generation, right? The next generation of business owners. So hopefully we're going to be doing that. I have a couple of guests coming on this season, so I'm really excited about hearing about their new normals and how they've been transitioning. So
somebody just shouted out to you, Cashzilla. So I wonder who that could be, Cash. Yeah,
we'll be on Monday. So
yeah. Again, thank you for all of our participants and our guests that are coming. If any of our attendees have any questions, just put them in the chat. If you want to come on board, come on board. And we're just having a conversation here about reimagining your business, because we're just kicking off second quarter of 2021. The year that shall not be named is gone. It's in the past. And so now we're looking to the future. And as we look into the future, what does that exactly mean? What does that mean to you, Robin, in Mauritius? What a great island. What does reimagine your business? You're going to be in the people lane this season. And and how is that going to show up in your show?
Hi, everyone. I'm Ravin from the island of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean. We're about 1.3 million here. So, I've been in the sales lane for, I presume, 2 seasons now. I'm transiting to the people's lane because, as every one of you say, the pandemic forced us to stop and reflect. And we at the IBGR, we said, why don't we seize this opportunity to reimagine our business and your business? So for me, we know that the pandemic is bringing also bad news, but it's bringing a lot of opportunities. It's giving us time to stop from our busy life, from our overrun life, and sometimes we are forced to sit down. For example, here in Mauritius, we are in lockdown, so we have to sit down at home and think. And as business people here, I think we have an opportunity to think and reimagine. So for me, reimagining my business is, what are the things that I could have done for so long that I didn't do because I didn't take the time to sit down and reflect. So while I'm having this time and I'm sitting down and reflecting, I'm seeing the opportunities endless, limitless. I mean, so many opportunities everywhere. Despite the fact that I come from an island of 1.3 million, but I know the market is not my island of 1.3 million. It's a world. It's 7+ billion people. And like Bill said, over 300+ million businesses. So yeah, let's imagine, let's reimagine, let's imagine to reimagine how we can really, like I say, take the world by storm. And this is what we are going to do in season 5.
I love it. I love it. So you're opening up the world more than just the island. You are literally going into the world, the entire world. Good for you. Good for you. How about you, Steve? Steve Sweeney from Melbourne, Australia, way down under. Good morning to you. Good day, eh?
G'day, mates. How you doing? With my Canadian accent, that doesn't usually come out so well, so I'll try and steer clear of that. Anyway, it's great to be here. I'm kind of excited to be here and to see lots of familiar faces on the screen in front of me. That's terrific. So I run a company called ARTA. That's the Australian Referral Training Academy, and my show, The Referral Guy, is on Wednesdays at noon on IBGR. That's Sydney time, Australian Eastern Standard Time. And I suppose what I like to help business owners do is find business owners with a great reputation and help them turn that reputation into referrals. Because if you've got a great reputation, why not use it as a business asset? It's quite a substantial one if you know how to do it. And so in terms of the question, though, Donna, I've been pondering this a little bit, and I've been thinking to myself, I reckon if you reimagine your business, so look at your business like the day you looked at it when you started. Try and re-find that passion, that drive, and that commitment. Because let's face it, that's what our clients need from us right now. So I reckon that being that brave person again and being that driven again, and that's who our clients are going to respond to, especially they're feeling a little bit low. We can pass on some of that energy to other people around us, and then that becomes very, very infectious. It's one of those things that I don't know, people gravitate towards is positive energy, and so being that person, being that focal point of positive energy. Like you were way back when you started your business. Remember how, bright and shiny and new and, all of our feathers were wet and all that kind of stuff. That's the sort of stuff that we should be all embodying because that person will help to reimagine your business. You're on mute, Donna.
I got hit with the mute button. So Steve, as a referral guy, your business has changed drastically, I assume, over the last year because networking has really changed. And how's that?
Yeah, I find myself standing in front of in this happy space in my house, like everybody else. I've had to reconvert their house so that we can bring things to light for the clients and stuff. But consequently, I'm dealing with clients who are in America. I'm dealing with clients who are in England, who are in Doha. I was hooking up with some clients the other day in Doha, and that is through the magic of the internet. Whereas before, of course, it was all face-to-face stuff, which is great. I still really enjoy the face-to-face, and in fact, that's my preference. But the world has moved on. We can't always get what we want, and we have to make the most of what we have.
Yes. And Steve is our director of training, director of talent development here at IBGR. So if any of our attendees, anyone who is listening might be thinking, I wonder what it'd be like to be on air talent, to be one of those voices being heard into the world. Steve would be the one to talk to give more information about that. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, Steve?
Yeah, so it's a relatively new position, thanks, Donna, and it's one that I've kind of thrown myself into. It's an awful lot of fun. I'm a trainer at heart, I'm a passer on of information, and I absolutely love that. And so being able to impart, a little bit of knowledge to other people to help them be in a better place is what that position is all about. In particular, it's about getting people to work out whether or not being on radio is for them. Let's face it, it's not for everybody, but so it's about getting them them the information so they can make a choice about whether or not, yeah, okay, radio's for me. I can use this to grow my business, to grow my network, to grow my influence, et cetera, et cetera. And so having it as a tool in your business is an extraordinarily privileged position to be in. I don't think people sometimes appreciate it as much as it could be, but it's a wonderful thing to be able to be a radio presenter and influence people out there. So if anybody has any questions about that kind of thing, it's my information is on the screen behind me, but I'll also put it in the chat if anybody wants to contact me later.
Fantastic. Thanks, Steve. And speaking of contacting, again, open to the attendees. You're hearing our version of what it is to reimagine your business. We want to hear from you as well. If you have ideas on how you plan to reimagine your business, go ahead and put them in the comments. We'd love to hear. Or if you want to come online and be seen and be heard, we're a friendly bunch here. So just let us know. We'll bring you on board. Let's stay down in Australia for a little bit longer and go over to Sarita Johan. Sarita, you have a fantastic show, Build Your Core, and your specialty is really on the power teams, those dynamic personalities, right? And
yes, absolutely.
And so how do you plan to reimagine your business? What is that meaning to you and your show, and what can we expect?
Look, there's been for all of us a lot of change, but I think it's been echoed already, so much opportunity at the same time. And I have been playing with a long time, even before everything happened. How can we reimagine our businesses? How can we create businesses that have a purpose for good? How do we create legacy? And it's been a bit of a journey for me. It's been looking at, because my forte is working with those business dynamic partnerships, and starting off with them and then working with their teams. So really to get them to play their A game from the inside out. But in the last 12 months, it came more to light, like we have a great opportunity to leave the old paradigm of how we have been trained to do business and create a new opportunity to be commercial and make money, don't get me wrong, but also to use the business as purpose for good. So I've recently trained up to become a B Corp consultant, if anyone is interested to find out more about that. Which is really focusing in on that. And I believe, again, working with those dynamic partnerships, we can create much more than the business. We can create a much bigger message. Hence that I came on, well, I got invited to come here, and it's just been such a good vehicle to help me reimagine for others, but also for myself, where I really want to play. So that's been a fantastic experience. So I'm on every Thursday at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Time. So if you get a chance, jump in. I've got some amazing guests for this season lined up, where we are really going to talk about, okay, what is it that we can do to create that purpose and that legacy? Because now is the time.
Yes, now is the time. And I listen to your shows every week, Sarita. I absolutely love them. They're on at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for our people on this side of the world. And the guests that you have on, the focus, because you experienced that yourself in your business, having those dynamic partnerships, and you're still in business with your daughter.
Yes, absolutely. So I went from having a partnership with my husband, my ex-husband, and funny enough, we still do business together because we were a really, really good partnership. And now going into having a daughter. And you know, the main thing that I often see within those partnerships is it's ever changing, and it is a different dynamic. There's so many different influences we need to be aware of that are unique to that partnership that we won't have if you are the sole business owner or driver of the business. So it keeps it exciting and entertaining. And again, you know, lots of space for growth. So never a boring moment.
Yes, absolutely. And it's going to be another season of amazing episodes, I know, with Build Your Core with Sarita Johan. So be sure to put that on your calendar. If you're just joining us, welcome. We have room still in the webinar. You can go to ibgr.network/webinar. And as soon as you give your name and email address, you'll get the link to come on board. If you're in the attendees area and you want to come in and speak with us and ask some questions, you can come on. Or if you're a little camera shy and you want to just put some questions in the chat, we are monitoring it for our on-air talent. If you want to put your contact information and a little bit about your show, that would probably be a good thing for the attendees to see as well. I'd like to go over to Crystal now. Crystal Davis. Crystal is one of our operations lane presenters, on-air talent, and does a fantastic show, Lead Lean. And as soon as I had met Crystal, I said, you and Bill are going to get along so great because you both have so much in common in the background. And I was so excited because for last season, we had a majority of our operations people were women, were females, which is a little bit out of the box. So Crystal, tell us a little bit about your story and how you got into leading lean and what this reimagine your business is meaning to you and your show.
Absolutely. Good evening, good morning to everyone. I'm Crystal Davis, and the name of my show, as Donna mentioned, is Lead Lean. We air on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. And what I like to say about operations is operations really is not sexy, but I try to make it sexy. And because I do that, because it really is the engine that keeps our business going. You think about all of the back office stuff we need to do, or if you're into products, you know, all of the things you need to do to get those products to market. The operations aspect of that is critical to being able to deliver on that. Even if you're in a service business, everything that you do to bring that service to the client can be thought of as an operation. So that's why I like to say operations, it's not sexy, but if we make it sexy, then it's not just kind of one of these, oh, I got to deal with those things. And what I help my clients to do actually is to not only understand their operations, but to strive for operational excellence. And I do that in two ways. One, I help them focus in on making sure that they're striving for productivity and efficiency. And then I also help them to make sure that they're developing leaders within their organizations to become problem solvers. And so if you think about it, people deal with problems day in and day out, and they start to just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So I encourage them to develop problem solvers within the organization. That way they can solve problems when they're small enough to not really impact the business. Now, what do I think about reimagining the business? So I've spent the unnamed year of VUCA helping clients get out of crisis. I've worked the majority of my clients are in the manufacturing supply chain space. So you guys were stealing all the toilet paper and all the water and all of this, and I had to help people get products back on the shelf. So when I think about reimagining business, I really think about first, it's a mindset shift because people have so much trauma from last year and what they went through. And just even being a little bit afraid to think about we might be normalizing. So the first thing is really to reset your mindset. And what I said on my show today is not only reset your mindset to focus in on what you need to get done so that you can come out of survival and into recovery and then into thriving, but to really think about how can I make up what I lost last year and double down on where I said I wanted to be this year. So now let's think about how do we catapult a business? And that requires a mindset shift, an energy shift. It means that you need to be thinking about things as futurists would think about it. That's what I'm thinking about for this year. And that's what I'm going to talk about in season 5 for this year and I have some amazing guests that are going to come on. I just mentioned an acronym, and Bill said, what was that acronym?
Yeah, I was talking about it before the show started.
I did 2 shows after you, Crystal, that all I did was talk about that. Besides, you do make operations sexy. Just listen to you.
I try my best. So, you know, when you think about last year, a VUCA environment, there's a whole leadership curriculum around VUCA environments. And VUCA is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Does that not represent 2020? All of them. And so really it is about helping people understand, how do you lead people out of that? How do you get people to take risk? How do you get people to trust? How do you get people to double down and really strive for these stretch goals? That's what season 5 is going to be about for me.
So more than just the operations piece to it, it's getting people in motion, getting them out of that.
Getting them in motion.
Yeah.
And getting them, you know, I also tell people that data is the new currency. Although Bitcoin is
Cash
like,
will
you
argue
know,
that one.
cash. Bitcoin, I love it. I love it. The data really is, right? So what data and information can you use that you probably aren't using in a way that can help you become a competitive threat?
A competitive threat. Wow. That's gonna be a great season. Your show is on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes.
Lead
Tuesday,
Lean.
yeah.
Yeah, with Crystal Y. Davis. So that's on my calendar. I know. I listen to just about everybody's shows. I'm addicted. I gotta admit, I'm addicted. Yeah, thanks, Crystal. So Lisa, let's go to Singapore now. Everybody get we're going into we got Rick's up there with the space thing. So now we're zooming into Singapore. Down, well, for me it's down, but Lisa Asquith has a fantastic show called Engaging Your People for Success. New time slot in Singapore at say that again.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just changing this week. So tomorrow, first day in the new time slot.
Yes, yes. So tell us a little bit about Reimagine Your Business, what that means to you. Tell us about your show. Tell us whatever you'd like to say, because we want to hear from you.
Great. Thanks so much, Donna, and everyone else. Look, I think for me, Reimagine Your Business is exciting. I know some people have found it challenging over the last year. Some people have found it scary. But the way I approach business and what I talk about during Engaging Your People for Success is all around people. And look, people are always different. They're not all the same. They're not a box we can tick. They don't fit into a square hole and it's all going to happen the same way in every single business. It's a matter of looking for those areas that work for your people and your business. And having gone through the crazy global pandemic, and it's still trickling on as we speak now, the upside of that for these businesses is that it's created differences and we can really capitalize on it. Yes, we can be scared of them, but we can look at the things we can do and change our business and really capitalize on things like technology, work from home, you know, driving forward in a new space that can actually make the business a lot more money. But at the same time, we've got to take the people along for that journey. And so how we engage them, we can have the best ideas, the best strategy, everything in place. But if our people don't want to do it, if they don't understand how to do it, they don't feel good about it, they don't feel valued, everything starts to fall over again. So for me, reimagining your business is really looking at those gaps in your old business, looking at the opportunities that all this change has given us, and finding those areas where you can move forward in a really positive way, but take your people along to help you create that. It's all about your people creating your business success. We don't want to forget them in that equation.
No, never. And I always think it's funny. I laugh a little bit behind the scenes. There's an inside joke to our attendees that you get to hear now, that we have our Monday through Friday set up as a balanced scorecard. So we say every business wants healthy finances. And in order to have that, we need operational excellence. We need to have customer acquisition and retention. We need to have people engagement and performance. And then the owner needs to think like an executive. They need to put their CEO hat on and just kind of take a different look at the business. And so Monday, our theme is finance, and all of our finance talent will show up there. And Tuesdays, operations. Wednesdays, customers, Thursdays, people, and Friday is owner as executive. And Lisa, you were saying that yes, people are at the heart of it, but I can guarantee if I were to ask Cash, who is on a Monday, what is the most important part of the business, it would be finance. And if I were to ask Crystal, it would be operations. And so what you get at IBGR is the passion for the expertise in each lane, and also the balanced scorecard. Because we'd like to do what we're really good at. But as business owners, I know for me, I can speak for myself. I like to do what I'm really good at, and the things I'm not really good at, I need to learn more about. And so that is why we've set up the programming very easy for any business owner to fill those gaps and those needs. So Lisa, you're absolutely right. People are the most important, especially on Thursdays.
especially on Thursday.
Yeah.
Now, let me just say that that's one of the things that's hidden about the station or the network that people don't see. But all the programming is designed to do exactly what we're talking about. And to make it simple, each day of the week represents the balanced scorecard. And then the time slots represent a startup company or a company that is young but growing, and a mature company where the owner is looking to sell. And so you could easily, by understanding where you are and what are the core issues, go, I need finance, operations, and people, and we're a mature company. So these are the shows I should either be listening to, or these are the podcasts that I should be listening to after the fact. And around here, we call them radcasts for the people out there, because that's radical radio replays.
The 3 R's, the 3 R's. So Lisa, I always love how you open your show. You're an Australian. How do you open your shows?
So yes, I'm an Australian, but I'm living and working from Singapore. So at the moment, I'm working globally still, which is great, just based out of Singapore.
Yeah, fantastic. Fantastic. So new time slot for Lisa. She's going to be broadcasting in our South Asian market, which is the way our broadcasting goes. We broadcast into 4 market segments, which is why you see and hear the faces from around the world. We start off in Australasia, down under, and we broadcast 6 hours, and then we move over to South Asia, which is now Singapore, India, Bangladesh, and that area. Then move over into the Prime Meridian market, where we have Robin and our on-air talent in Africa and UK area and Lebanon. And then we wrap up the day in North America. And so it really, you can listen to the programming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, catch all of the replays, because each on-air talent, the shows are recorded. And the easiest way to get the replays is in our app, I think. Raise your hand if you're on-air talent and you love the app. Come on now. Do you love the app? Yeah, see, we all love the app. It's at ibgr.app. And if you could put that, maybe Bill, could you type that in the chat there, ibgr.app. We, unlike some other of the new platforms out there that only say for iPhone, ours is for Android and iPhone. We do not discriminate here at IBGR, and you'll be able to listen to all of the podcasts. You can listen in the background. We have a saying at IBGR that it's the best background music to build your business, and you build yourself along the way. I see Brandon, he's smiling, he knows, yeah. What I'd like to do now is move on over to another one of our North American talent, very talented, Raj Kapoor, who is originally from India, has a powerful, powerful story along the way. And your show, Raj, Guidance to Wealth, tell us how this Reimagine Your Business shows up in Guidance to Wealth in your show that airs on Mondays Eastern Time at 3 p.m.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Donna. And it's such a pleasure to be here. I'm just enjoying everyone giving their opinion, talking about different things, which is all essential for business. But before I talk about it, I would like to definitely say one thing. This is my 4th season with IBGR. And it has been such a progression. And I just love the way it has progressed. One of the things I would like to tell all the listeners is that the information that you're getting on IBGR is not available anywhere. Many of the small business owners, they're trying to bind so many programs out there, what to do, trying to get into different universities to get more information on specific thing. Over here, you're getting every single thing. And all the hosts who are talking from their experience. This is what they are actually teaching most of the stuff to their paid clients and charging good chunk of money. Okay, and over here, we are giving it for free to help you. So don't take it lightly. The information that is coming to you is coming from real life experiences. Take me, for example. There are lots of failures and lots of successes. Failures is what makes the stepping stone for us. But success is what catapult us in a different direction altogether. And with Guidance to Wealth, this was a program that I teach. Is a 12-week program which I teach to my private clients. But over here, I'm bringing to you the information from that program itself, because I believe, actually, this is what I'll go back. I worked 30 years as a chief financial officer. And what I noticed there many times, specifically in nonprofits that I was working with, that there were people who were making really great money, good money, I would say. And then they would still have problems in just paying the simple fees. Upon delving deeper and deeper into it, I figured out that their mindset was not there. They were making good money, but they were spending money. Similarly with businesses. I have been working with many business clients, and what I'm noticing with them is that they don't even have a proper budget many times to start with, specifically small businesses. And I'm like, are you saving any money? And the thing is, the focus is not on money. So when you say people are important, everything for me, money. Yes. So like cash, money. Because without that, your business is not going to operate. It's
Well,
not going to go forward.
yeah, and Raj, you do a lot of work with nonprofits, and you're
Yes, I
focused
do.
on money because there's a lot of nonprofits that say, well, we're not for profit. Well, you still need to
Exactly.
be making money.
Exactly. And I've helped turn around a lot of nonprofits because their mindset was of service, which is imperative. But without money, where would you go? They were literally on the verge of closure. And all those experiences in my life led me to create the program called Guidance to Wealth. And that is what I bring to you, the mindset. But the most important thing, as you said, about reimagining your business, reimagining your business is going back to your why. Why did you start your business? What was the reason behind it? Because many times at this juncture, you start to see adversity and you start to see things are going down. The news media is giving you negative news. This is closing, that is closing, this is going on. But very few are focusing on the opportunities that are out there. But if you really take a look into it, yes, there are opportunities. The way to work is different, but the basics are still the same. The laws of money, let's take, for example, in the times of Babylon. I mean, at that time, the laws of money, when they were encrypted and they have found those tablets and it is all in the richest man in Babylon, if you go back to those basics, they're still the same.
Yeah. And
So
the same with the laws of business. They're the
exactly,
same.
laws of business are same. It is just how to focus them in a different angle. And my most important point here is go back to your why. Why did you start the business? You took some risk, you started the business, and now instead of taking a look as adversity, take a look at your passion, because that's going to start to ignite your passion. And that is where then you come back, listen to IBGR, and you will start reimagining your business, because the ideas, the different shows on all different angles are going to give you things which are going to literally put you in a different state. So that's what, for me, reimagining my business is. For myself, by the way, for my business, uh, right now, the whole world is at my fingertips of my keyboard because now I am training and coaching people in different parts of the world. It's time zone and it's working really well for me. That was only because I had to change my mindset to see how I can reimagine what I can do with it. So embrace change. That's what I would say.
And so for what I'm hearing you say, Raj, is so many times we think that we're got the crystal ball out and we're going into the future because it's this brand new post pandemic and everything has to be new and everything has to be. You're saying, this has been around for centuries. That's been around for thousands of years, and that is so much in alignment with what we say here at IBGR, that the laws of business are the same. Business is business no matter what. For any of you that are our attendees who are listening to my voice and you saw any of the ebook that's out there, business is business, and that is our stance, and that is everything that we're bringing. No hype, no newfangled, I always say you can get a million email subscribers if you stand on your head and hold your breath for 3 seconds. No, we don't get that here at IBGR. You get the real deal business stuff, real deal business stuff. So thanks for reminding us about that, Raj. Really appreciate that. Yeah, great show. I love your show as well. Because you're going to hear me say that, folks. I love all of them. I love them all. And you should
Yeah,
too.
I want to pick up on something that Raj said, that when we were trying to think about what to do with this season, because every season, which is relates to a business quarter, we attempt to come up with a theme that we believe is relevant to the audience, what's going on in their business. And Raj is right. If we're 2,500 years ago and we're in Babylon, running a business is the same as it is today. You make something, you got to sell it to somebody, you got to figure out how to keep the money. And if you're successful and grow the company, you got to hire some people. That's kind of it. And so what we're trying to do is to say, with those basic business principles, the market today, the environment we're in is different and provides us different opportunities and different tools, but nothing's ever going to change. You're going to make something, sell it to somebody, keep your money, and hire people. And that's what we're about. We are business basics. So we didn't call it this next season going back to basic because we wanted a much more positive, upbeat message. But the reality is that's really what we're saying.
Yes, 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 yes. And we for our on-air for our attendees, for people who are watching and listening, our on-air talent will be coming and going throughout the next hour and 10 minutes. We've broken this down for them to come on board in about 30-minute segments. So what we're going to do is we're going to hear from Angela Taney Earn the Ask next, and then we're going to hear from the ADHD DJ Brandon Suba from Subaville Studios. But first, let's hear about Angela. Angela, tell us about Earn the Ask and what Reimagine Your Business is all about and who you are and all that you are. I'm not hearing you, Angela. Oh, goodness. You are unmuted, but the mic is not working for some reason. Okay. One of the things that we love here at IBGR is live radio, live Zooming, all of this live. And it's part of the excitement of it. And some of our on-air talent, especially when it's the first time to push the button, you're going to see some heads nodding from our talent right now. The first time to push the button is so much anticipation, so much excitement, so much, is it going to work? And what I always say in the background to our on-air talent as a sound engineer is that is part of entrepreneurship, and that is what we are showing our listeners every time we go live, is that we don't know what building a business is going to be like, but we're going to push the button anyway, and we're going to take our step out there, and if we need to adjust, we need to adjust, and if it goes perfect, it goes perfect, but we bring it to you live every time, all day long. And while Angela's fixing her sound, let's go to Brandon in the Subaville Studios. Brandon, tell us about your show. Tell us about Reimagine Your Business.
Hey, everybody. This is Brandon Suba, your ADHD DJ, coming to you live from Subaville Studios.
Yes.
No, I'm super stoked for season 5. So I am, I think, rounding out my 2.5 season here on IBGR Live, and it's been a blast. The anticipation of the first time, like almost every time you hit that button.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting. And I was watching Americans Got Talent, and there was a comedian, an older kind of she was a grandma. I'm not saying that demographically. She was a grandma. That was part of her story. And when she came on halfway through her set, she was in the middle of a joke and she completely blanked.
Oh, no.
And every time I get on the station, I'm like, is this going to be the show that happens to me? So far, so good, but I make no promises in the future. So my show focuses on people, I should say business owners in earlier stages dealing with people. I have a very large networking background. I traveled 4 states training and presenting on how to network and how to grow your business via referral. And that translated really, really well to dealing with people. On top of that, I have a huge sales background. I did a lot of home improvement sales with countertops early days. And that's
Bill said he'd buy a used car from you, Brandon.
Well, thank you. I'd even sell you a new one if it's the right day. And so when we bring all that together, I think we do deal with people. And no matter what stage you are in your business, no matter what position you hold in your business, you're going to deal with people internally or externally. And so as we look at season 5, I want to go back on a couple topics that I've already talked about and bring them into the now. Fortunately, IBGR has been around pretty much since the beginning of the pandemic. Are we not saying that? Is that the word I can't say? The beginning of the thing.
The year that shall not be named, 2020. It was the birth of IBGR. But see, you can still grow a business. We're showing you. Anyway, go ahead. Tell us more, Brandon.
And so that's where I think a lot of us in our show, we are going to be talking about what is it like now? Because any successful business owner is agile. We use that word a lot here on IBGR, and they adapt. And when you don't adapt, you disappear. And so all of the guests that I have coming on, and I've got it about every other week, I'll have a guest on. Every single guest I have coming on has started a business within this time and had success. And I think that's pretty cool to be bringing them on the show because they were dealing with people in many different ways, shapes, or forms. And how exciting is it to hear that other people have had success when a lot of people, and I hate to say this, kind of see it as maybe an excuse to be okay to fail. I think we can succeed in any environment if you stay true to your values, if you stay true to the habits you built earlier, middle, or late stages of your business. And so with season 5, my reimage, I'm going to bring some of the stuff back we've already talked about, but I'm going to talk about it in the now. And one of them is going to be one-to-ones, and that's going to be in June, because who knows what one-to-ones are going to look like in June. So I'm excited for that because I think we're going to have a lot of time in the next few months. We're going to see a lot of changes. I know we see a change every day, but we're going to see a lot of changes. And I don't think we should ever go back to the way it was, because if we go back to the way it was, all we're doing is trying to push ourselves to go backwards in our comfort zone.
Yeah.
We need to expand that comfort zone.
Yes.
We need to be in the new. And the best part is those who adapt and those who embrace the new are going to have the success, and they're going to make it further on. Every time I've started a new position, it was the worst time. And when I sold countertops, I started when the housing market crashed. I'm in mortgages now and the refinance boom is over. I love that though, because I got my feet wet in a tough, challenging environment, as all of us are in a tough, challenging environment now. So then when we're out of it, we're going to be above the rest. And I'll give one more analogy and then I'll stop. And if you watch me, I'm bouncing around in my little box because, as you all know, I have ADHD and I can't stop moving. But when I rollerblade. And when I first started rollerblading, I had very basic, cheap rollerblades because I bought them. And my buddy bought super expensive speed skates. And so when we would rollerblade together, he would, I couldn't even see him half the time. He went way faster than I did. And finally, after a couple of years, I bought myself speed skates and the tables turned. He couldn't keep up with me. And the reason was I learned on crappy skates, slow, stupid skates. And when I got the tools, the expensive good skates, I already had the skills to use them to the top advantage. And I think that's what we do here at IBGR is we express to all those business professionals out there, 1, you're not alone. 2, your story, it may be unique to you, but we've all probably experienced it in some way, shape, or form. And then 3, we came out on top and you can too. And so that's how I see reimaging business. Things are going to always be changing on us. It's not always going to be so publicized on the news, but it's those who adapt, adjust, and keep going that see the success and watch their business grow. So love to see success can be fun with focus. Thursdays, 11 a.m. Central Time, American Standard Time. Brandon Sub, your ADHD DJ. Can't wait to see you on the show. And I am obsessed with most of you on here. It's almost like I'm seeing celebrities and I get to like be on a panel with them. So I feel pretty cool.
Yeah, another great show. I love your show as well too. You go Facebook Live a lot. So if Brandon is sometimes even when you have a guest, but a lot of times you can find Brandon on our Facebook page at IBGR Network. So you get to see him and hear him. Lots of fun on that show there. I thought you were going to go Army on me, adapt, adjust, and overcome. You changed it just a little bit, Brandon, but I'll forgive you.
No, don't feel bad. I can't remember those acronyms. So I might always mess up. And Cash, this is a little bourbon for you, lady. Little basil hidden there.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, yes. If you blow on your cup, it looks like it's a tea, right?
Yeah, so we're having fun here at IBGR. Angela, should we go on over to you now? Can we hear you? Can we hear you? Where'd you go? Can we hear you? Yep, I can see you. Cannot hear you. If you have a plugged in mic, maybe unplug it. We are going to have to give Angela another chance. Because no.
Hey, Angela, if I can grab a cord real quick, you want to call in? Do you? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up.
Oh,
Okay. All right.
Well, Angela has a show on Wednesday. It is Earn the Ask. It is a fantastic show, and hopefully we can get to hear her before that she has to jump off. But while we're getting Angela hooked up on the sound there, let's head on back down under to Australia, to Adelaide, Australia, with Rick Carter. And Rick has a show for the Encore entrepreneur that just wants to have a go at it. And I see that you have your space station back there too. You got so much to tell us about there, Rick. Why don't you take over and tell us who you are, what ReImagine's about, what Encorepreneur is about, who you are, all of that.
Well, hi, everybody. It's nice to see so many smiling faces. Yes, I come from one of the most fortunate places on earth. We have had, in the last 12 months, we've been in lockdown for 3 days. That's right, 3 days. And we haven't had a person die here in more than a year. So I'd suggest if you guys want to really live the life, come on down.
I was going to, Rick, but they said you guys got big spiders. So I'm not going.
We're also the home of the Australian Space Agency, so we're a bit like Houston, and we have the largest defence industry project in Australia here. And I'm probably the slackest person here of the presenters because I'm still working out what the hell I'm going to do because as Donna, who follows me on Facebook, knows, I've got 1,000,001 things on the go, one of which is proving my oncologist wrong, who told me I should be just about dead by now. And I've never felt better in my entire life because I've completely ignored all of his advice and taken my own. That's one of the things I like doing, proving people wrong. I'm really good at that. And one of the things I am divesting myself of, I'm divesting myself of lots of stuff. One of the things I want to keep doing is IBGR. One is the Founder Institute. You saw a logo behind me before. That's helping people start businesses from an idea to an investable business in 13 weeks. And the other is hopefully with Lisa taking on an enormous challenge of launching a media company in China sometime in the next month or so. Something we've been working on for some time. My focus, yes, is encore entrepreneurs, people who may be a bit later in life. I mean, believe it or not, I'm getting on a bit. I'm 72, and I'm here to support people who really want to keep going and keep going forever. Retirement is the greatest heap of bullshit I've ever heard of in my entire life. My thinking comes a lot out of a book by Kevin Kelly, The Inevitable, the 12 technology forces that are driving the future. And he says there's never been a better time to start a business or do something new or different or whatever. So reimagining to me is around that. And what's become known as future back thinking. Project yourself 10 years into the future based on what you know today, based on what you know from the past, and build a portfolio of opportunities of what your customers might be looking for and wanting to do in 10 years, and have yourself a strategy that can head in whatever of those directions, have some flexibility built in. And the other thing I'm a great promoter of is the modern elder. If you've ever watched, put your hand up if you've ever watched the movie The Intern with Robert De Niro. Okay, Robert De Niro was the modern elder, where you're part intern and part mentor. And I think there are tremendous opportunity for older people to get themselves into businesses and play that role. Be the mentor that teaches the business owner about the world of business. And as we've said, it hasn't changed, but a lot of these younger people are doing an awful lot of learning out loud. But at the same time, learn about where the world is going. So I guess to sum it up, I'm about helping businesses of the future understand the present, and businesses of the present understand the future. I have no idea where my show is on and what I'm doing, but I just leave all of that to Donna.
Yeah, fantastic. And really, it's such an inspiring show, Rick, that you're doing, because there are people, especially in the pandemic, anybody with a computer these days can do something to build a business, it seems, right? You don't even have to go out and actually have a building and build the business that way. And there's the experience that can be brought back into it is really phenomenal, the way that you present that. So Rick is going to be on Saturdays on our Australasian time. And so you can continue to listen to him. And if you're interested in becoming an Encore entrepreneur, again, you can get all of last season's podcasts at the ibgr.app. great way to do that. And you can just take IBGR with you wherever you go. And Bill, did you want to say something at the top of the hour? This is
Yeah, I will. I'll say two things. One is that Rick's got a great show, and what he's really working on is, he and I talked about it, and he's got it. All the gray beards that are out there who have got 3, 4, maybe 5 decades in business. Ravin, you're not old enough yet. You're getting there. But for all those of us who have been around a long time, we've still got a service to render. Brandon, I ain't talking to you. All right. We still have a service to render. And what Rick's talking about is, hey, before you retire, come on back for one more, do an encore, because we could do a lot for those business owners out there who are starting out, because you got 2 choices. You can learn from guys like us, or you can go to the school of hard knocks where you get whacked in the side of the head when you don't know it's coming. It's painful. And we could have solved that for you and prevented that lesson. But, you choose. The one thing I want to say here before I move over to Ellen, and Ellen's a fractional CFO, and that is if you're interested, this is a great place for you to be hosting your own show. Because really what we got going on here is we have, as you can see, we've got people who are experts, who've got years of experience doing what they're doing, and they're helping out other business owners and entrepreneurs, as well as we're helping each other out. There's a lot of interchange and support going on the team. And if you're tired of being out there by yourself, this is a great place to be, because you're not by yourself here. You're with your brothers and sisters, basically, because we're all entrepreneurs. We understand each other in a way that a lot of people don't. Also is that, imagine if you had a platform where you could talk to 169 countries, thousands of people every week. And it gives you the opportunity to establish yourself as a thought leader way beyond the markets or the areas that you're in. In the old days, I go back to the days of selling, is that there was a stage in the sales process where we would call the comparison stage. And that is you gave somebody a proposal, they looked it over, they shopped it around, they tried to find out based upon what you're going to do for them, how's your pricing. Oh, the world we're in today is all the comparison shopping is done before they ever talk to you. And so how do you affect it? Well, you've got podcasts, you've got your show notes. I mean, we have over 2,000 pages of notes in our database. That's how many shows we have done. There isn't a topic on starting, growing, or exiting a business that multiple members of this team have not talked about. And all you've got to do is go to it, find it on our website. But I just wanted to say that if you're looking to have a platform to share your expertise with the world and develop some pretty good marketing collateral, you ought to come on over here and just send me an email, programming@ibgr.network. Now, let me turn it over to one of my favorite shows. I love fractional CFOs. Why? Because I know enough about that to be dangerous, and I know I need them. So, Ellen, you're up.
All right. Well, thank you, Bill. Can you hear me?
I got you.
All right. Very good. So I have been given an opportunity that is just wonderful, because every week I get to talk about a topic that I live and breathe all the time, because my show is geared towards people who want to exit from their business. Now, if you run a small business, the one thing that is going to happen for everyone is eventually you're going to transition out of that business. It may be you sell it, it may be you pass it on to family members, or it may be that one day you're gone and that business goes to somebody else. So I cover that topic, and what I do as a fractional CFO is I have a conversation with every one of my clients about what their plans are for exit from the business. And so we talk about building value. That's huge. So when they come to the point where they're going to exit out of the business, they are at a point where they can maximize on that. And so this season, I'm really, and reimagining your business is exactly what I like to talk about, because I talk about that every day when I'm talking about building value. But we're also going to get into the psychological things of exiting your business. Like, what are you going to do after you leave your business? What all that all that knowledge in your head, what are you going to do with it? So I'm going to be talking to somebody about getting that into a book, and I'm going to be talking about cultural fit between a buyer and a seller. So I'm just really excited about this season. But I do want to say, I'm going to put this out there. If somebody has a topic they want, when it comes to exiting your business, that they want me to talk about, I'm open to that. Just please, contact me, and I'd be happy to go down that road and look at that topic. So anyway, again, I'm very excited about this season. I've been here for a few seasons, and it's been fun. It's been scary at times, and it's just every day, every week at 3 o'clock on Tuesday, I am ready and roaring to go, and who knows what's going to happen, but I seem to get through it every week.
Yeah, and Ellen, for your show, the Savvy Exit. So you do a lot with the exit strategy. You bring a lot of fantastic guests on there. So it's not just about the money and the finance and the fractional CFO. You have a very niche specialty for anyone that is looking for that transition.
Yes, and that's what finances are. I'm a CFO, so finances like cash.
Financial
money
officer.
Yeah, that's right. But honestly, I love the people part of it. I love every aspect of a business, and just when I was doing my building value series, it didn't always deal with finances. It dealt with people. It dealt with building a good team and being able to leave your business for 2 weeks and not have to worry about it. Those kind of things.
Yes, and so even pandemic, there's still business going on. There's still needs for the CFO. And your show is on Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
And you have some guests lined up, I assume, for this season coming up. You're talking about. So
I have 2 right now, and I'm looking for more. So I love having guests. It makes it more fun.
fantastic. So if you're one of our attendees and you would like to be a guest on Ellen's show, Ellen, maybe you can let them know how to reach you. For all of our on-air talent, if you want to put some contact information for any of our attendees that would like to reach out to get to know you better, to answer some questions, to find out when your show is, that would be fantastic. And to all of our attendees that are still with us, we are in our last hour here. It's a come and go. You'll see the faces of IBGR as we're bringing in the next set of talent. And so we've got some new faces, and we've got some that have moved on, and that's how we do here. We just keep flowing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with our fantastic on-air talent from around the world. And I think Robin gets the prize today. What time is it there, Robin and Mauritius? Oh, you're muted.
It's 4:11 in the morning.
Yes, you get that. Everybody give him some golf clap over there, some big hands, because that's fantastic. What dedication. Does that not just show you the dedication of our on-air talent to want to make a difference in the lives of business owners from around the world? So we've got some new faces that just jumped on. We've got bye Lisa. We got Lisa checking out there. It's good to see you. They're coming and they're going, and so we're welcoming Jeremy Gray, and we're welcoming Richard Miller, and in this next go around here, and we've got some more that'll be popping on as well. I'm going to go to Richard next. Richard Miller from Adelaide, Australia, who is not Australian, but is one of our on-air talents. He'll be going live right after this summit. That actually we're going to be then segueing into Richard's show. So if you want to hear more of Richard, I love listening to Richard and loved him so much that we've hired him to be our director of marketing here at IBGR. So Richard, what we're asking you to do is just to tell us a little bit about you, about your show, and maybe you can also give us a little bit of how you're reimagining in your show, and also what we're doing here at the station to reimagine with marketing. So over to you.
Thanks, Donna. Good morning. Yes, an Englishman in Australia. How's that?
Yes.
We came and we conquered. We conquered again.
It didn't work here.
Yes, well, my name is Richard Miller, and I'm a marketing guy. So I've been in the industry of marketing for about 20 years now. And my business, Crisp & Co, has been around for 13 years this year. So we're about to celebrate the unlucky anniversary. But I decided this season, after going through lots of different things in the last 2 or 3 seasons that I've been on, with the theme, so reimagining the business, my belief is that if we strip our business back and really assess what our brand is all about, because as we know, people buy with the hearts, not with the heads. So we've got to build a relationship with our customers. And so to understand our own brand and to market our own brand correctly, aside from any offers or financial incentives to buy our stuff, then we've got a good platform for the future. And what a lot of our clients did very wisely through COVID was because they stopped advertising and stopped doing TV and radio and all our core business, what they did is they went back and they reassessed what the brand is all about. And it's almost like sending your business to a counselor. You know, you sort of see ourselves as marketing psychologists. You know, so go back and reassess who you are, why you exist, what you're there for, and why your customers care. And so we do what we go through this process, which is, I'll lead into in a second, the process we're going through with IBGR of building a brand pyramid, which goes through the different facets and assets of your business, and really strip it back and understand it better, because people often get confused by brand and branding, because branding is about the colors and the logos and the fonts and the image, whereas brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. So understanding what you want people to say about when you're not in the room is very, very important. And especially if you've got teams, because the whole team needs to be talking the same language. And so when you get the team talking the same language and you get your customers talking your language, then you've built this relationship and this rapport. So what we do at Crisp is we help businesses to understand the brand and then to create the branding that goes around it with our content guys. So with IBGR, to answer that question, my role and my team's role here is and has been over the last couple of weeks and the next couple of months to reassess the IBGR brand. We've just gone through the process with you, Donna and Bill, to build our brand pyramid, which we've almost done. It's almost polished. And the next part of the process is to then put all of those words into a visual style guide so that anyone that's involved in marketing IBGR and anyone that's involved in IBGR as a host or as a recipient of the information is crystal clear on what we are and what we stand for and who we represent. And so all of that is through the process now and over the next couple of months. And by season 6, we're going to relaunch a new website, which will be fully branded with the new brand. And we're hoping to really clarify and simplify what IBGR is all about for the consumer and our 3 target markets. There we go.
So much marketing. And I love your perspective, because when I first met you, Richard, and I looked at your website and you said, we're a unicorn in the world of advertising. And I told Bill, I said, we need a unicorn.
Yeah, and I think what Richard hits is a good issue for all business owners out there, is that your business is going to morph. And one of the challenges you've got is if your brand is not solid at the beginning, it begins to morph too. And then pretty soon, as Richard and I have talked about, your baby's ugly.
I never said it was ugly. I just said
I
it
know,
needed to get a baby grows.
I had fun with Richard with that. But it is true. And so if there was anything you got to get right early in a business, is your brand, because it's as much your infrastructure as your intranet, your websites. I mean, it's really critical. And so it just brings out the issue of, you're going to morph, you're going to grow, you're agile, you change, you make all those moves you got to make to stay in business. Have something solid to move on. And that's the brand.
Yeah, and it is important, Bill, at the start of your business to do that. Quite often, though, at the start of a business, people don't really know that stuff. And so they've got to do it and experience it and go along. And so it's not unusual to reassess all of that when you've been in business for about 3 or 4 years, because you've experienced what's good and what's bad, what people want, what they don't want. And in fact, what the personality of your business is going to be. Because quite often when we start a business as an individual, it is all about our personality as individuals, but the business needs to morph into its own personality, because you've got a whole team of people that are out there selling this business, and everyone needs to be singing from the same hymn sheet. And so the personality needs to reflect the business itself, not just the individuals in it, because then you're going to get a schizophrenic business because we've all got our own individual personalities. So what we, and the reason we suggest that we're a unicorn, Donna, to actually prove that point, is that we we challenge that. Our internal catchphrase here is challenge normal. Our team all have this on post-it notes on the computers, challenge normal, because it's not our job just to create what our clients ask for. In fact, that we wouldn't be doing our job if we did that. Our job is to challenge what the client asks for, to make sure they know that what they're asking for is correct. Because quite often people don't know that. You sort of visualize something in your head, and when you see it on paper, it doesn't look the same way as you imagined it would, or it doesn't have the same effect. So with our experience and with what we know of marketing, and having worked with national businesses, international businesses, and local businesses over the last 20 years, is that we understand the right questions to ask to extract that information from a business owner, so that we can get to the root of what the real requirement is, and more importantly, what the customer of that business is going to want to see. So we challenge business owners on a regular basis, and anyone that comes to us, that's the first thing we say is, don't expect to come to us, give us an order, and we'll just go away and fulfill an order. We don't do that. We're not order takers. So if you don't want to be challenged, don't come to CRISP, because we will challenge you.
And you exist to challenge normal. That's what I love about it. And just working with you, Richard, it's been fantastic. Down to every single word has to make sense. Every single word has a feel, has a marketing flair to it. And so for those of you that have been with IBGR since the beginning, or for the last few seasons, you're really going to see it evolve. It is evolving pretty rapidly into this new baby. Not even a baby. What are we, a toddler now? We're definitely out of the baby.
We're walking into furniture and banging our head now.
Yeah. So if nothing else, just stick around to see all the changes that are going to come about with IBGR and with Richard and his team at Crisp & Co. And stick around, because at the top of the hour, or bottom of the hour, depending on where you are in the world, it's going to be Richard's show, and then we'll have Steve Sweeney, who was on here earlier. So we're going to continue. We're broadcasting live on radio.co or on ibgr.network on our radio station. We're live on Facebook. We are live in the webinar. We are looking for your questions and comments. We definitely want to hear from you, our attendees. What are your questions? What are your ahas? What are your takeaways so far? We are just going to be wrapping up. We have about 30 minutes left of this show. I know it's been going fast for me. I don't know how it's been going for you all, as you've been listening to all the amazing stories from around the world of business owners who are sharing everything that they know with our listeners. And welcome, Russell, too. It's good to see you. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to Jeremy, and then we're going to hear from Russell. And so Jeremy is another one of our CFOs, our chief
financial officer.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just so much fun being live. But Russell is another one of our expats. So you hear the English accent, but you are living where? Jeremy, you're Jeremy. You're not even Russell. Billy,
Russell and I are very similar. We're both losing our hair, and
I got plenty of hair. Don't worry about that.
And you, Bill.
Good
morning.
That's my Jeremy that I listen to every Monday after I listen to Russell. So Jeremy, the floor is yours. Tell us about ReIMAGINE Your Business and your fantastic show of practical solutions for difficult problems.
Yeah, thank you, Donna. I've spent much of my life in the corporate world. I spent 40 years, in fact, working with an American multinational. Started with them in the United Kingdom in the finance role, which is why I'm a CFO. Then moved to the United States for 13 years, where that was more general management. I ran a mining operation in South Carolina and a chemical company in Milwaukee, and had 13 very enjoyable years in the United States. And then in 2006, I moved to Asia Pacific, to Singapore, which is where I am today, to set up a division for the company here in Asia Pacific. My background in terms of being entrepreneurial, I agree with Rick Carter. Retirement is not for me, and I recognized that probably 7 years ago. when I realized that there'd be a time when either the company got fed up with me or I got fed up with the company, and it would be time to part ways. And so 7 years ago, whilst I was still working for the American multinational, I joined the CFO Center. Russell is also a fellow member of the CFO Center. Quick plug, cfocenter.group.com if you want to learn more about us. So I joined the CFO Center to be able to help well, basically to use the knowledge I'd accumulated over all the years of employment to help companies grow and expand. I then recognized that because of the vast experience I hadn't just been a CFO, I'd been a general manager. I'd run operations across Asia Pacific. I could probably do a little bit more than just the CFO Center. So whilst I still work very happily with the CFO Center, I also set up my own consulting business. I think you find many CFO Center members also have their own business. I know Russell does. You know, we tend to be multifaceted. So I set up my own company, Three Continents Consulting, with the tagline "Practical Solutions for Difficult Problems." And because what I want to do is encourage entrepreneurs to make that next step in their business, to help them think about growing their business using some of the skill sets and the techniques of multinationals, but making them relevant to smaller companies. And a couple of my passions, as probably some of you know, one is mergers and acquisitions. I always make the point that it's not just for big companies. Mergers and acquisitions are also for smaller organizations. And one of my success stories here in Singapore has been a company that I've taken from I'll use US dollars, $5 million US dollars to around $15 million using M&A and organic growth. And the reason we've done that is we've been planning for the owners exit from the business. And obviously $5 million is not a particularly attractive company for someone to buy. Get it up to 15 million and suddenly you've got a saleable proposition. And so we've grown the business up to a size, profitability that's an attractive business, and now we're marketing it so that the owner can exit the business and move over to move back to the United Kingdom, which is what he wants to do. So that's the kind of skill that I bring. My season 5 show, and I mentioned on Monday's show that I've probably done the listeners a little bit of a disservice when I look at my season 5, because I haven't promoted it correctly. My season 5 is to encourage companies to move into new geographies, to expand from where you are. If you're in Singapore, population 6 million people, you can only grow to a certain size with that population. You've got to expand. And the objective of my show is to encourage people to do that. I'm particularly bullish on Vietnam at the moment. And if there's anyone in the US or Europe who's listening who would like to learn more about the potential of Vietnam, please don't hesitate to contact me. But I can also help you in Thailand, Malaysia, really any of the ASEAN countries that you may be interested in. Where I think I've done the disservice to the listeners is when I look at the topics I'm going to be covering in the show, they also have the fundamentals for any business, whether you're expanding or not. You know, what's the right location to set up your business? What's the right distribution strategy? What's the right structure for your business? How do you, maximize the taxes and incentives available to you? So, I think I've done a little bit of a disservice. So I hope I'm going to start promoting it a little bit more along those lines. It's fundamentals. I've got to admit, show 2, which is coming up next Monday, really is about moving overseas and is it right for your company? But thereafter, it's all fundamentals for the business. So that's what I do, and that's where I am. By the way, just to let everyone know, I have retired from the corporate world. I am now focused on my entrepreneurial activities. So that's me, Donna. That's
fantastic. So you're living in Singapore, you're broadcasting in South Asia now, this season. And your show time is?
It's 12 o'clock Singapore time, so that's 2 p.m. Sydney, Brisbane time. 11 a.m. if you're in the ASEAN countries. So, and obviously it's 9:30 Mumbai in India. And yes, it's a great honor to be broadcasting into the Indian subcontinent, live into the Indian subcontinent. So thank you for giving me that time change. I really do appreciate it.
Yes,
So,
yes.
thank
And
you.
another show that I listen to every week and absolutely love, learn so much that, you know, you never learn enough. I don't think there's always something new to learn, always something new to get. And that's the beauty of IBGR, just playing in the background. I know you, Bill, you have it on your TV playing all day long. And
yeah, I've got the app, My Tuner. And so I listen to the station when I'm sleeping. And of course, when I'm sleeping, I'm probably still listening to it for the few hours I'm asleep. It's just mind-boggling is that here's this thing that we've all built. Some of us from the beginning, others who joined it. It's on the television. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to bring up, I'm going to do this super fast because
and then we'll go to Russell.
Yeah, because Russell's up at the plate next. And Kevin Beers has just shown up. One of the things that we're doing is we've got this model about partnering. Everybody that's on the air is a partner of ours in some way. More formal, like we have with Richard, but all of us are partnering in some fashion to grow each other's businesses. And one of the ones that we did, because this is the model that we're using, kind of this network effect, connect with people, and we do what we do well, you do what you do well, and then together we have a pretty good business. We were approached about 3 months ago, I guess, by one of the top tech startup podcast platforms out of Germany, out of just outside of Frankfurt, and they are now broadcasting in English. And it was a perfect decision to go, why don't we partner? So now we have our own 30-minute podcast called Agile Radio, agilrad.io. And it's shows that I'm now doing, my live shows are really 30-minute podcasts for startup radio. And the reason that we're doing that is we're testing that partnership out to see how it works, because Jorn over there, they've got some of the top tech startups, and they are now they've moved from broadcasting in Deutsch in German into English. And so, again, this is the type of partnerships that we're putting together with people. And so if you're out there and you've got an idea about a partnership, the answer is not no until we hear it, because more than likely, if there's a way to do a deal together, we will do it, because if we can help you and you can help us, then why aren't we doing business together? And so I just wanted to talk about that. So the only difference is that now I'm doing 6 30-minute shows a week. And I found that writing the show notes for a 30-minute show is just as long as the show notes for an hour show. And suddenly I've doubled my workload, but that's not me complaining. All right, let me turn it over to a great colleague of mine, somebody that I do listen to because he's on early enough that I'm not asleep. So, Russell, my friend, are you ready to roll?
Good day, Bill. How are you? I'm absolutely ready to roll from Adelaide in South Australia. So the reason I'm here today is not just because of the fantastic launch of season 5, but my father-in-law said to me just the other day, he's Maltese, and he said to me that there's a saying in Malta that something good always happens from something bad. Now, something bad hasn't actually badly happened, but my son was ill. We were supposed to be on holiday this week, and I'm not even supposed to be here. So my son fell ill over the weekend, and we brought him home last night. He's not desperately ill, he's just unhappy to be away from home. So something good has happened in that I'm able to jump on to today's launch. And so from something bad, something good has happened. So came on this morning and was listening to everybody Facebook Live, fantastic, and jumped on very last minute. So thank you very much indeed for having me, Donna and Bill, for organizing this. Now, a quick plug for season 4. I know this is season 5, but here we go on season 4. You can always listen to the podcast from season 4 because as a CFO, a Chief Financial Officer, Donna.
Yes, thank you.
I'm also an Englishman in Australia. You can probably hear my accent, it's very English. And I started life working for, thank you, Richard, for the elbow up there. But I
Solidarity.
started life working as an accountant, a junior accountant for Richard Branson. So I started my accountancy career in probably one of the most entrepreneurial businesses that ever existed, Virgin. And I spent 7 years at Virgin Atlantic, the airline across in the UK, and then was sent to Brussels to start up an airline called Virgin Express, which was a takeover, a merger, an acquisition, Jeremy. So we did the acquisition of European Belgian Airlines, and we became Virgin Express. And from there, I was sent, sounds like I'm being posted around the world by the Virgin Group, but I was actually volunteering for these postings. So I was sent to Australia. I was the first POM on the ground, as they say, the first Englishman in Australia for Virgin back in 2000. And we started an airline down here called Virgin Blue, which has since morphed into Virgin Australia. And of course, with the dreadful pandemic that's gone on, that business has reimagined and re-engineered itself as well. So I'm a CFO, I'm a chartered accountant, and I work for the CFO Centre alongside Jeremy Gray. And what we do is we reimagine people's businesses. So we go in and we talk to them about how their businesses are now and what they'd like to achieve from their business in the future. So we set milestones and goals and strategies to get them from A to B, and we help them do that. We help them live the life they choose, is I think the CFO Centre's frame. So back to season 4. Season 4, I went through the CFO Centre's 12-box framework, which is the way in which we look at businesses and the way we structure them. And we structure our approach to building businesses of the future. So if you want to hear a bit more about the CFO Centre and its approach and the way in which we deal with businesses, please have a listen to my podcast, Your Money Machine, on season 4. Now, forward to season 5, and season 5 is where I bring in my collaboration with Rick Carter, who we met earlier today on the show. Rick and I are directors with the Founder Institute here in Adelaide, South Australia, where we are helping people build from an idea to a globally scalable, investable business. And we've got 15 not so young and young entrepreneurs who are joining the Founder Institute program here in Adelaide starting next week. So next Tuesday, we kick off the next semester, if you like, of the 13-week program, which just coincidentally and wonderfully fits very closely to the season 5 show on IBGR. So we're not only going through the program of building 15 entrepreneurs from ideas to globally scalable, investable businesses in real life here in Adelaide with the Founder Institute. I'm broadcasting about it over the next 13 weeks on IBGR. So this is all beautifully coincidentally coming together. They say in life there are no coincidences, there are engineered occasions, and this is a wonderfully engineered occasion. So that every week we'll be going through the curriculum that our 15 founders are going through live here in Adelaide. And I'll be interviewing most of those founders, I hope, during that 15-week period, bringing their stories to IBGR. We've got some amazing companies. There's a young person here in Adelaide who's created a business called Bin Shift, and Bin Shift is a way of reviewing how we look at our waste and how we change that. We've got a gentleman who's creating a business that is the Harley Davidson of health for men's health, 40 to 60-year-old men. We all are on this show, apart from Donna. I think we're all just
I am the only female right now. How did that happen?
Ridiculous. What's happened to everybody else? But we are in that Harley Davidson zone where we don't look after our health enough. And so we've got a number of businesses that are going through, and I hope to hear from most of those as we go through on my show over the next 13 weeks, which is Your Money Machine, broadcasting live from Adelaide here, 9:30 Adelaide time. We've got a bit of a quirky time zone change here, which is 10 o'clock Sydney, and probably around about 8 p.m. in New York now.
8 p.m. You got that right. 8 p.m.
So with all the time zone changes that have happened,
oh, we don't talk about them.
We now broadcast live from New York, 8 p.m. on a Sunday night, Your Money Machine. We'll be talking about the Founder Institute program over the next 13 weeks. And that's me.
Yeah, super fun show. We have a lot of good times on on Russell's show. Russell, not Jeremy. Got you guys separated.
We do look exactly the same.
It's
and
the
we do work for
CFO
exactly the
thing,
same.
you know, Chief Financial Officer. Yes,
Yeah.
I do know what that is.
And I can't believe how much in common I do have with Jeremy, of course. I mean, having gone from being a chartered accountant into organizations, large multinational, international organizations, and becoming more involved in general management, and now taking that experience and helping small entrepreneurs, young businesses turn into adult businesses. And that's what we're looking at here, very much like IBGR, businesses that walk around the room banging their head on the furniture. It's about time that they're sending them to school, educating them, and allowing them to grow up into the beautiful personalities that organizations can become. And as Richard rightly put it, every time, it's all about values. Organizations are based on values. Even today, I can tell you, 30 years later, the Virgin brand values: fun, innovation, caring, honest, value for money. That's it. That sums up Virgin in 5 very key values. And it's within that organization, and you work in an organization that works, and they get people performing to very high-performing teams. I have a mentor once who very cleverly summed up, it's a simple sentence, it really is, getting people emotionally engaged with a common vision. It's as simple as that. Facebook's done it, Amazon's done it, Google's done it, Virgin's done it, Apple's done
IBGR
it.
is going to do
You
it.
get people emotionally, and IBGR, absolutely.
Yes.
We get people emotionally engaged with a common vision, and you can do anything. You become a hugely high-performing team, and that, I think, is the objective of IBGR, is to help business owners become emotionally engaged with a common vision for their business, so that they too can become high-performing teams with their organizations.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for that, Russell. So again, Russell is Sunday night Eastern time, 8 p.m., but it's also at 10 a.m. Sydney time, or 9:30 Adelaide time, because they do it just a little bit different on a Monday morning. Always a great time with Russell. And what we're going to do now is go back to North America, back to RVA, Richmond, Virginia area, and we're going to talk with Kevin Beers, who is one half of Survival Mode. So Kevin, welcome today. And what we're doing is just talking about reimagine your business, and how that's showing up for you, and how it's showing up in your show this season, for season 5.
Well, can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. I don't know. Bill's pointing down at something there. I don't know.
I don't know. You're muted, Bill. Bill is still muted. What is Bill saying? I hear you, Kevin. You sound fine.
Okay.
Don't just ignore the man in the corner.
Yeah. I've been trying to do that all season. Well, for us, what we found in season 4 that really worked well for us is if we brought a guest on the show, just to talk about whatever topic was we were talking about. So going into season 5, we've actually lined up for about half of our shows having a guest on there who can speak directly to the topic that we're talking about. Like when we talked about taxes, Bert and I both know a lot about taxes, but we don't deal with that every day. So we brought somebody in who deals with it every day, and that went over extremely well. We got some good feedback on that. The people that did listen were like, I learned so much from that. And then we do a podcast outside the radio show for personal finance, and we had the guest on there too. So it works, works in both areas that way. So just we came in late on season 4. So now Bert has 15 years of radio experience. I have 0, actually probably less than 0.
Just like most of the team, because they're entrepreneurs.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt like I just adapted to it really well. The one of the things that Bill told us from the get-go was just get your timing right. If nothing else, get your timing right. Well, I'm a stickler for details. So when I was in control, we got the timing right. When I let Bert be in charge, not so much. So so we're working our way through that. But I've really been enjoying just being part of the network.
And what is your show going to be around this season?
We will continue mainly in the area of finance
Mhm.
for business, but we are getting into it's more than finance because like in the last season we talked about. I don't have the list of the shows in front of me.
Sure.
I should have brought that up. But we talked about what if you need an actual physical location, real estate. How do we get into real estate? How do you pay for the real estate, renting versus owning, all those kinds of areas. It all kind of relates to finance in some way, but so we're going to just continue on that same route, just bringing in a few more experts on many of those things.
Great. And your show is airs on Fridays in North American time at noon on Fridays.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
And we got the tag team duo and bringing in some outside guests. And you guys complement each other very well on the show. It's a very enjoyable show to listen to, and there's so much great knowledge to get. So it's, what do they call that? Edutainment, where you can get something to help grow your business, but it's not sitting in like the college classroom sort of a thing. It's
Right.
yeah.
But what we're bringing to the table really is, like for instance, Bert just signed on a new office. He's currently been working out of my office, and now he's expanding out, getting his own office. So actually, a lot of what we talked about was just what we're going through as business owners.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the whole point of IBGR, is to share what's working, share more importantly what's not working, so that our listeners don't make the same mistakes that we make.
Right.
Learn from it and connect. And what I really love is just that heart to serve that all of our on-air talent have. That it's really business owners helping other business owners. Because I know, Bill, you put out the 4 principles that every business owner needs to have, and part of that was networking, but networking not in the way that we know networking.
Yeah, it was much more of a, networking is a great concept. You go to a BNI meeting or whatever the group is, but it's really how does a small business, which has a great deal of talent and agility, do battle with the big guys? Well, if we come together and we take all of these businesses here that represent IBGR, and then we collectively come together, there isn't a coaching or consulting company out there that can touch us. We could take on the McKinseys or the big companies in the world, because we used to do that back in the day. Now we're not in that market, but that's the principle behind it. And that's what we bring to this, is that the collective expertise here is huge. And this is a network. This is really, when we say it's a network, people think it's a media network. Well, true, that's the aspiration. What's the real network? You're looking at it.
Mm-hmm. It's the resource of the people. That's the biggest asset.
There's one show that we're going to be doing that I want to highlight.
Yeah, sure.
It'll be in June, after school lets out. But we're going to have a show with entrepreneurs who are 18, 19,
Oh, how
17
fun.
years old. So we're going to be talking to them on how they got started and see what we can do with that.
Yeah, the Zoomer generation.
Yeah, I think, Kevin, you guys ought to check out what Rick Carter's doing with the founder. Rick and Jeremy are doing on the founders, because they're doing something.
Rick and Russell.
Russell, excuse me. I was looking at
Because you guys look so much alike.
No, I was looking at Jeremy's face right then, because of the way my screen is. But the idea is that they're doing somewhat of the same thing within their context.
Okay.
So there may be some good ideas, and maybe it goes the other way.
Okay.
Now I noticed that the Bob G just came back in, and he was on earlier. He was in the first part of the show, and what Bob didn't get a chance to do, or he didn't remember, he didn't talk about his show and when he's on and what he's doing. So I want to give that back to Bob. So Bob, welcome back.
Well, it's good to be back. And this Central Time is a real bear, because I've been on Atlantic Time for the last 42 years, 2 hours ahead. And so the grandchildren, I had to go deal with them, but I'm back. And I'm just listening to this because, yes, my show is on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, which is noon Central Time. I have to remember that. But it's called Destiny Road, and the mantra of that is you're always one step. You're just always one step away from getting on the road to your destiny, the journey of destinations. I like to think that, see, too many people, when they get to a destination, they think they've arrived, and really that's a preparation for the next journey to the next destination. And I was just listening to Kevin, and it reminded me of the story where I was working with the local Chamber of Commerce here, and they were having issues keeping people in the jobs at the chamber. And I said, well, this would be a great opportunity to do a little human behavior specialization, because I'm all about communication. I'm all about connection. And so we did the evaluations of the personalities. And once the CEO of the chamber went through the results, they just moved a couple of people around, and their depletion rate has decreased immensely. And so as I was listening to Kevin describing, I'm going out on a limb here, but Kevin, you sounded like you're a true C personality, and your partner is a true I. And what's unique about the houses in this modern day and era is that there are no clocks in the houses. I don't know if you all have noticed that, but there are no clocks in the houses except in the microwave and the oven. I don't know how many of you are traditional and have clocks on the stove, but my grandkids, no concept of time because there's no clocks in the house. But yeah, I'm all about communication and connection and helping people. And this Thursday, I'm actually opening up with what's called spring cleaning, but I'm taking it from a different perspective, that I'm helping people to get out of the quicksand that they may have gotten themselves into. But what I've come to find out is that quicksand is not necessarily a bad thing. It is manageable, but it's rather better to get out of it completely. So Thursdays, Bill, at 1 p.m. Eastern, Destiny Road, you're only one step away from that journey of your life.
Okay. What's going on here? My screen went blank. Can
You're
you hear
still
me?
there. Yes, you are still
Okay.
there.
My
You're
screen went blank.
live.
I have no idea what's going on.
Well, we see you.
Yeah, okay. Let me kind of close this out because we're coming out down to the end here. We got about 11 minutes left. And one thing I want to say to all the audience and everybody that's been here, because some have come in, some gone out, is I greatly appreciate people taking the time to listen to what we're doing here. But more importantly than listening to this event is to check out our calendar and pick the shows that work for you. We're here to do one thing, and that is prevent, as much as we possibly can, you having to deal with a lesson that is painful that perhaps you didn't have to, because we've been through that before. And as you look out here, as you look at all the players, you know, there are some younger people here, but for the most part, you got people who got 30 years under their belt. We understand business reasonably well, and we love it. And give us the opportunity to prevent you from making some of the bad mistakes. I mean, I have made some tremendous mistakes in business, and where it got me was I had been very successful first. And so you get kind of this hubris of, hey, I got this wired. And I can tell you right now, it's the worst thing in the world, I think, for any business owner, any entrepreneur, is for the first business to be an incredible success, because then you start believing your own press. And that's when you get yourself in over your head. You get extended. I can't do any wrong. You make investments you shouldn't make. You don't check it out because you trust your gut. And then one day, you know, you're sleeping in a storage unit. And there are more entrepreneurs out there who has happened to than you would believe. And so that's what we do here. We have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We focus on 4 markets. We've had plenty of people in from what we call Astral Asia. I looked that up. That's how we come up with the name, but it's Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, Philippines, Taiwan, and who knows what's going on with Hong Kong. Then we have South Asia, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. We have what we call the Prime Meridian, which again we had to come up with a name for Africa, Middle East, Europe, and United Kingdom. And of course, we have North America here, which is United States, Canada, the Caribbean, Bermuda, and Belize. I got to talk about Belize. Great place to go to speak English. But what we do here is basically to help you based upon what you need. Mondays, it's about finance. Tuesdays, about operations. Wednesdays, about customers. Thursdays are about people. Friday's kind of an interesting day. Is that my experience from, I'm not going to call myself a coach. When I was doing consulting to small business owners, getting them to think of themselves as the executives of a multi-million-dollar firm has always been a challenge, because they say, well, I don't have a multi-million-dollar company. Hell, I don't have a $500,000 company. And it was really challenging to go, look, if you don't think like you're running one, you won't. That's going to become pretty true. And so our Fridays are about how do we yank them up the cone a little bit to go, hey, you want to run a multi-million-dollar firm, you start thinking like it. Richard Branson, I can guarantee you, started thinking that way the second he started his first business. And it just fed from there. So for the people that are listening, I greatly appreciate you being here, taking your time. And for my host, oh, wow. What great, and we call, by the way, they're called on-air talent. This is the talent that is going to make a difference, and it has been making a difference here. And I go back to where we started. 1 year ago, we had one host, me, doing 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, which we rebroadcast around the world. We were in one country with one listener. Look where we are today. And I didn't do it, and Donna didn't do it. It's a thing that we did this together. And I greatly appreciate that. So I'll open the floor up here. I got what do I have here?
6.5 minutes.
6.5 minutes. Let me open the floor. Anybody? And in fact, we have a guest who we haven't had given the opportunity to say anything. Andrew, would you like to lead with some comments, questions?
Let's just put Andrew on the spot after 2 hours.
Well, he doesn't have to. He can go, nope, I ain't going to do that. We got plenty of hands.
I defer the floor to Bob. He's much more capable and able than I am. Richard Miller, that's an excellent, fantastic description you put forward for your business there. Amazing.
Yeah.
Right on the spot.
His show's coming right up too. 6 minutes.
Russell and Jeremy, excellent. Thanks for giving back and inspiring and encouraging. Fantastic, excellent. And Bob, of course, I thank you for your guidance through the weeks and months. And, oh my God, I remain a work in progress. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Thank you all very much. Raven, excellent. Thank you.
Raven hasn't gone to sleep yet. Raven,
no, he looks like I do at 3 o'clock in the morning when the last show in India goes off. And I'm like,
well done, everybody. Fantastic.
And we're so glad to have you. It was great to meet you, Andrew.
Thanks for the invitation. Happy to be here.
Yes, and thank you for the feedback,
Andrew. I'm quite looking forward to getting on a plane and coming to Bermuda. That's the best thing about IBGR is that I've got holiday destinations.
All right, come on down. You're a free tour guide when you get here.
Fantastic.
Well, isn't that going to be a great day when we get to travel and we get to come to each other's businesses and be there and do events like this? That's all the work.
In real life.
Yeah. I could hardly wait to get to Australia. I've never got there, and it's like number one on my list. Then India.
On the Barbie.
Yes.
Yeah, and we often joke about passing each other on the airplanes as we're coming to New York.
Yes. So as we're wrapping up, we have just a few more minutes, so we can still have some open discussion. But I do want to let all of our webinar attendees know that in your confirmation email, there was a link to download the ebook that Bill wrote on how we are reimagining IBGR and the 4 key principles that are within that. If you didn't see the link, I'm going to resend an email out tomorrow. Look for that tomorrow with the link to download the ebook. What are you pointing at, Bill?
Oh, the math to the ebook.
The math to the ebook.
Yeah,
so
I'm an engineer. I got to turn it into math.
It's not math. It's a good read. It's the 4 principles that every business needs. And Bill talked a little bit about that new networking, that new idea of networking. So look for that tomorrow in your inbox, or I guess if you're down under, it'll be later on tonight. I'm going to get to it tomorrow. You'll definitely get that. If you're listening and you want the ebook, you can still go to ibgr.network, ibgr.network/webinar. I'm going to leave that up, it'll say that you're registering for this webinar, but you'll get the replay and the ebook link in that as well. And gosh, we still have 4 minutes, so we'll open up for any other questions. If we have anybody in the attendees that want to come on, this is like kind of the after party here now. So mic's open. Let's get the conversation started.
Donna, maybe I could just say a few words
Oh,
to,
yes,
the,
Jeremy, absolutely.
to the folks who are listening. I mean, Bill mentioned earlier on that we're growing and we would like some more radio show hosts. And I'd just like to say to anyone who's listening, it's not as difficult as it might appear. I mean, none of us, maybe Bill is, but none of us are really professional radio show hosts. The thought of putting a 1-hour show together sounds daunting. It's not. You know, you think you're gonna have to find so much material. I always run out of time. Always. I can't cover everything I want to cover. So if you're listening and you think you'd like to join us at IBGR, don't hesitate. You probably have the skills. You certainly have the knowledge. So don't hesitate. Become part of the team. Become part of the team.
And Jeremy, that's dead
I'd
on.
like to endorse, sorry, Bill, I'd just like to endorse exactly what Jeremy has said there. I mean, I came on the show 7 or 8 months ago. This is my 3rd season with IBGR.
You pulled your hair out.
Personal development. That's why I'm here, because I've never done a radio show. Now, all you need is a computer. We've all got the equipment because we all do Zoom. COVID has been the best best thing to give people the ability to do radio shows, because we're all doing them every day on Zoom calls. That's all we do is a radio show. It's effectively the same thing. So I think whilst COVID is the worst thing that could have possibly happened to many businesses, I think it's given IBGR a great kickstart in getting the talent, as you call us, the ability to come online and just talk for an hour. And it just is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. And so as we're wrapping up today's webinar, thank you to our on-air talent for showing up. Thank you to all of our attendees who are still on, and all of our talents and attendees who have been coming and going throughout this. The replay will be available. The Facebook Live will be available. And for our talent, I'm looking at the time clock. We are at 20:59 and 23, and we're going to be taking it off the airwaves so we can make room for Richard Miller to come on with his building brands and selling stuff. But that's not the name of the show this season. Anyway, we are going off the air on the radio, and then we'll be saying goodbye on Zoom. Thank you so much to everyone. Let's continue to stay together. Let's continue to get engaged, because together we are better. Bye for now. And we're off the radio. And we're saying goodbye on the Zoom. Thank you all for showing up and for making tonight very special. We love you all. Bye, guys. We're going to end it now. It is 9 p.m. Eastern time. Have an amazing business week.
Thanks, Donna.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'll be listening to you, Richard. It's going back on the TV set.
Richard Miller, and we're counting.
You got 2.5 minutes there, Richard.
I do.
Could read War and Peace in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. Robin, go get some sleep. Thank you, my
Get some
friend.
sleep. Lay down.
We talk soon.
Yeah.
We will. We will definitely talk soon.
All righty. Bye. And